In Taylor Swift's song LML, when she says, Mr. Steal Your Girl Then Make Her Cry, she's not talking about Maddie Healy stealing her from Joe Alwyn. She's talking about Joe Alwyn having stolen her from Tom Hiddleston. By the way, I'm Mary, and I analyze Taylor Swift songs from the perspective of a songwriter and a former English teacher. I'll do a deep dive of the entire song at some point when I have the time, but today, let's take a look at one of this song's most defining lyrics, pointing to Joe Alwyn as its subject, the line, Mr. Steal Your Girl, Then Make Her Cry. Before we dive in, because there will be some pop culture tea, I just want to say that when I examine Taylor's music, my interest is not in moralizing Taylor or any of the people involved. I'm not trying to decide who's right or wrong, who's good or bad. My interest is in making sense of Taylor's storytelling so that I can better understand and connect with her emotions behind the music. So when I approach her songs, I see the people involved as more or less characters in a story, and I invite you to do the same. To understand why Joe will be Mr. Steal Your Girl, we need to go back to the Reputation album and look at the stories behind some of its songs. Here's a quick pop culture recap. In 2016, Taylor was dating Calvin Harris. In May, she attends the Met Gala and was photographed dancing with Tom Hiddleston. 1 month later, she and Calvin break up, and by mid-June, she's publicly dating Tom. Their relationship lasts only a few months until the beginning of September, and, unbeknownst to anyone at the time, she and Joe are dating by the end of that same month. There's evidence to all of this, but it's just too much to get into right now. Everyone at the time assumed that Taylor's relationship with Tom and Joe happened one after another. But what Taylor's music reveals to us over the course of several albums is that she was actually involved with both of them at the same time. And this is nothing scandalous because considering Taylor was fresh out of a more than a year-long relationship with Calvin Harris, it's not unusual for someone who just got out of a relationship to want to just have fun and date casually and possibly be talking to more than one person at a time. What is important in this story is how everything led to Joe being Mr. Steal Your Girl. We know Taylor was involved with both Tom and Joe at the same time because even though she was publicly dating Tom after the Met Gala, she has repeatedly referred to the Met Gala as the origins for her and Joe. In the song Dress, she reminisces about when she and Joe met. She says in the bridge, "Flashback when you met me, your buzz cut and my hair bleached." That's exactly what they looked like at the Met Gala. In the song Cardigan from the Folklore album, she also reminisces about her beginnings with Joe and says in verse 1, "Sequin smile, black lipstick, sensual politics." Again, sequins and black lipstick are what she wore to the Met Gala, and sensual politics is referring to the kind of games that she and Joe played with each other before they became official and exclusive. In the song Gorgeous, Taylor says in verse 1, "I got a boyfriend, he's older than us. He's in the club doing I don't know what." It's safe to assume that the boyfriend in the club is referring to Calvin Harris, who's a DJ. Some people assume that because Taylor started publicly dating Tom Hiddleston right after Calvin, the song Gorgeous must be about her meeting Tom. But it couldn't be about Tom, because Tom is actually older than Calvin. So Taylor wouldn't be saying to Tom, "My boyfriend is older than us." She could only be saying that to Joe, who's younger and 25 years old at the time. This is supported by the fact that in the song Dancing with Her Hands Tied, Taylor says, "I loved you in secret, first sight. We love without reason. Oh, 25 years old. Oh, how were you to know?" She's talking to Joe about how she's liked him since they first met at the Met Gala and how he didn't know at the time. So after the Met Gala, Taylor was public with Tom and under the radar with Joe, likely because Tom Hiddleston was already famous, so they got a lot of media attention, while Joe was still relatively unknown. But things got complicated and came to a head when Taylor realized that she had stronger feelings for Joe than she did for Tom, leading to her having to end things with Tom. She writes about this in the song Getaway Car, in which she expresses remorse that she had unintentionally hurt Tom because he was essentially just a rebound after her breakup with Calvin Harris. In this song, she writes about the love triangle that formed between her, Tom, and Joe. Taylor says in the pre-chorus, "He poisoned the well, I was lying to myself." The he is referring to Joe. Poison the well is a metaphorical way of saying Joe undermined her relationship with Tom. She was lying to herself because she was denying her true feelings for Joe. Taylor continues, "I knew it from the first old-fashioned, we were cursed. We never had a shotgun shot in the dark." An old-fashioned is a drink, specifically whiskey served over ice. If this sounds familiar to you, it's because in the song Gorgeous, Taylor specifically mentions whiskey on ice when she's recounting the fateful meeting she had with Joe where she became infatuated with him. So in Getaway Car, Taylor is saying that when she met Joe that time and shared their first drink, she knew that her relationship with Tom was doomed. She shared such strong feelings and chemistry with Joe that she and Tom never had a shotgun shot in the dark, meaning Tom never stood a chance. In this song, Taylor recounts what happened by using the analogy and narrative of a heist story in which her character betrays her partner. She makes it clear that at some point she had to choose Joe over Tom, and in doing so, she inadvertently broke Tom's heart. In verse 2, she paints this picture. With three of us, honey, it's a sideshow, and a circus ain't a love story, and now we're both sorry. The three of us is referring to Taylor, Tom, and Joe. And after she had chosen Joe, she says, and now we're both sorry. This is a double entendre for how Tom is sorry, as in he's sad, and Taylor is sorry, as in she feels bad for having hurt him. This is why in the song Midnight Rain from the Midnights album, Taylor says, I broke his heart because he was nice. She's talking about Tom Hiddleston. The song Midnight Rain was written basically in the final year of Taylor's relationship with Joe before they broke up for good. It's a song about the what-ifs that are born out of deep unhappiness. When someone's having serious doubts or regrets about a relationship and questioning, how did I get here? And wondering how things could have turned out differently. In verse 2 of Midnight Rain, Taylor sings, so I peer through a window, a deep portal, time travel, all the love we unravel, and the life I gave away. She's wondering about what would have happened if she had just stayed with Tom. In the chorus, Taylor says, he wanted it comfortable, as in Tom, I wanted that pain. And her train of thought leads us to the bridge where she says, I guess sometimes we all get just what we wanted. And this is one of my favorite lines in Taylor's storytelling because it's so heartbreaking. Remember, she's writing this song in the final year of her relationship with Joe as she's feeling like things have gotten unbearable. And she's saying, I wanted that pain. I guess sometimes we all get just what we wanted. To be clear, Taylor doesn't have any lingering feelings for Tom. She's over him. What she talks about in Midnight Rain is really a reflection of how she was feeling about Joe. She says in the bridge, I guess sometimes we all get some kind of haunted, and I never think of him, as in Tom, except on midnights like this. She's haunted by what could have been with Tom because at that moment she was hurting and deeply unhappy with Joe. She's questioning, how did I get here? How did things go so wrong? What if I had just made different choices? What if I had just stayed in that relationship and didn't get into this one? And that is why Taylor will refer to Joe as Mr. Steal Your Girl, then make her cry. Yes, Taylor's responsible for her own choices, and I think she does take accountability for that in the song Getaway Car. But I think a lot of people miss the fact that Taylor actually tells us a lot in her music, from the beginning on the Reputation album, that Joe was kind of a player. And in the narrative arc of her storytelling about their relationship, she sees herself as having been fooled by Joe into believing that their love was going to be one for a lifetime.